In 1929, when the Great Depression first happened, it affected many people. The first people affected were the farmers. During World War I, the troops needed a lot of supply of food. This put the farmers in business, so they bought a lot more land to grow crops on and bought new machinery to help with harvesting. Once the war was over, the farmers didn't need to make as much food anymore, which left them with a bunch of land and new equipment that still needed to be paid for. Since no one was buying as much food, the farmers couldn't pay back all their loans.
Soon there were problems with the economy. At the beginning of the 1920s, many inventions were beginning to be made that people wanted to buy. People would borrow money to buy the new inventions, but never pay the banks. This caused many problems for the economy. People were losing their jobs and couldn't make payments. Then the banks would start taking them away, and many became homeless as the banks took their homes.
On Tuesday, October 29th, 1929, the stock market crashes. This is known as Black Tuesday. Many people put their life savings into stocks, and when the market crashed, a lot of people lost everything. This crash affected the Depression the most and left many people with nothing. This played a huge factor on shaping the Great Depression.
I want to sell my stocks.
No one's buying.
Hurry! It's gonna be too late!
The stocks are rapidly decreasing.
I'm gonna lose so much money!
The stocks have just crashed.
Once the stock market crashed, people began to worry. They would go to the banks and ask for all of their money up front. None of the banks had all the money requested up front because banks loaned out other money out. So the banks were forced to close, and people lost all their money that was saved up in the banks.
Even though no one had any control over this, the Midwestern states had a major drought called the Dust Bowl. This Dust Bowl would have dust storms that would leave the dirt everywhere and anywhere. This wouldn't allow farmers to grow crops, so there was a scarcity of food, too. Many families would struggle with the Dust Bowl and move away. The Dust Bowl damaged people's health, some people even when they breathed in the dust. They believed that when the storms were occurring, that it may actually be the end of the world. The dust storms could get really bad, which made the Depression even harder on the people who lived in the Midwest.
The Depression didn't just hurt people physically and emotionally, it also affected them socially. People were living on the streets with no shelter. Also, they begged for money, food, and more. People had no money for food and would eat whatever they could find. People lost their homes and were homeless. Many of the people's dreams would eventually turn into nightmares of failure. Jobless crowds would stand outside of business offices to try to find employment. People would clamor around food shelters to find food. Also, people would sell everything they owned just to have money. Living in America at this time was a dreaded nightmare. Everyone struggled just to get by on nothing.
When you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, when you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in rivers, and the tears come streaming down your face, when you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes Could it